The year is 2023, and in the month of January, things are already a little bit weird. But I think it's time for some normality. The League of Legends EMEA Championship is back. And so's the Fantasy League. So let's go. So, the best way of saying this is the Fantasy League is unchanged because the LEC is unchanged. Apart from a couple of things. Let's go through those. The split that we will follow our Fantasy League off is no longer 11 weeks of competition and breaks and mental stuff. It's now 6. So there's a lot less time to get into the swing of things with our little predictions game. But it means it's snappier. And again, it's still split into 3 rounds. The round robin, the group stage, and the playoffs. And we're going to look at round 1 this week, which is pretty simple. It's 3 super weeks of competition, every team will play each other once, and our competitors will have to predict what will happen in the 6 things that we look for. The 6 points that we can score. Which team will take first tower, first dragon, the herald and its eye, first baron, first blood, and the win. Simple. They usually happen in every game. Usually. So that's what we go for the points on. But who is going to take those predictions and score 1 point per prediction and hopefully look to get a lovely full house of 270 points? Well, it's these. It's the Magnificent 7. It's our champion from last time, it's Darius. There's also me. And then there's Duncan, Martin, and Terry as well. And the prediction bots make a return. Perky, our good old stat-based bot, and Pinky. Basically 50 pence pieces on a board. That's just how that works. So in terms of team changes, nothing's changed. Apart from 2 teams. Okay. You've got me. So we now have, in place of Misfits Gaming who left last year, Team Heretics. Or Heretics. Or Herbie-Derby-Derby-Doo. And then replacing Rogue, well, more replacing the branding of Rogue, is Koi. Every other team is still there, even though the rosters have changed all over the place. Now, it's time to get into Week 1's games, and the best way to do that is to look through the predictions. So, off we go. Right, let's get on with these Week 1 predictions. Same as we did with the last season, we're going to focus on one game in each Super Week, and that's Fnatic versus G2. It's just easy to go for. Darius, given a G2 win, but balanced predictions across the board. For Duncan and Martin, well, Martin went for a sweep for Fnatic. Duncan went the Darius route. Myself, I went G2, and Terry also swept Fnatic. Perky gave G2 the win, but a lot of objectives went to Fnatic that weren't kill-based, and Pinky gave a lot of Fnatic objectives, but the win to G2. So, with that, let's get on with the first Super Week's rundown. And we start with Saturday. That's going to be weird to say. Game 1, XL versus G2, and yikes! First Blood went XL's way and overstepped by G2's jungler. Herald, though, went G2's way after G2 got the kill lead back, and XL, well, they got themselves a stolen dragon, but G2 were just piling the pressure on. Tower went G2's way at about 16.5 minutes, and XL were having trouble. They had to concede the first Baron, pretty much, to G2, and it didn't get much better from there, as the first game of the new format went G2's way just after 30 minutes. Game 2, it's Koi versus BDS. Koi, the rebranded Rogue, as we discussed in the beginning. Same style of play though, really. Got themselves a an aggressive first blood. Herald also went their way, while a cross-map play gave the dragon to BDS. BDS feeling a little bit stronger until later on in the game. First tower went Koi's way though, pretty balanced on kills, and a relatively slow game. Baron though did go Koi's way, and eventually the win. So eventually it was a nearly 40-minute game. Game 3 is Astralis versus Team Heretics. First blood went Astralis' way, just a bit of jungle overstepping and roaming happened, and they got themselves first dragon very early. Herald did go Heretics' way after this very weird jungle fight, river fight, I suppose. Tower though, at least the first one, went Astralis' way. And then Astralis got themselves a lovely, lovely Baron as well. But they fell apart, and an Infernal Soul gave Heretics the win. Game 4 is Mad Lions versus SK. Little bits of roster switches around. Kazi now back on the Mad Lions team after poor Vitality year. Herald went Mad Lions' way, and then, well, an SK initiation didn't really go well. First dragon though, that was fine. Mid tower got bonked by that Herald. And then a Baron, as things fell apart for SK. And then Mad Lions just waddled up to the tower 27.5 minutes, and that Nexus got themselves the win. The last game of Saturday, Vitality versus Fnatic. Reckless is back, and Reckless died. First blood Vitality. Dragon went Fnatic's way, as did the Herald. Both neutral objectives either side of the river was picked up. And in fact, Fnatic had a bit of dominance. They got themselves a tower, got themselves into the game. They killed the overlay, they got the Baron, everything was going their way, and then a misengage. In spite of Dragon Soul, Vitality got the win in what people considered an undeserved win. Sunday, Game 1 is SK versus BDS this time. We're just going straight on, no breaks in between days. BDS got themselves a first blood in a lovely top lane engage. Herald went to SK while BDS took themselves another dragon. In terms of first dragons, everything was fine. First towers, also theirs. And then a Baron. It was the week of stolen objectives, and they got themselves a win. 1-1 in this new single round robin system. Sunday's game 2 though, Astralis versus Mad Lions, and look, if Astralis could keep going and just go for solo kills like what Finn did there, that would have been great. They also get themselves a Herald without a real answer from Mad Lions, who had to settle for the first dragon of the game. And then Astralis got themselves the first tower, and this was great. And then Mad Lions got themselves a soul, didn't even need to pick up a Baron, just, baited it, and got the win. Poor for Astralis. Game 3, Vitality versus Heretics. And first blood, calm as you like, went Vitality's way, before they then lost those 2 kills afterwards. Dragon went Heretics' way, just getting themselves in. Herald, picked up by Vitality in that 8th minute, which was all nice. And they got themselves the first tower as well. while just invading red side jungle, as you do. And what seemed like panicked communication got Vitality the Baron, and a few minutes later the win. They're getting there. It's pretty cool. Game 4, it was XL's turn to take on Koi next. And, poor Patrick. Koi vs. Blood. Herald went XL's way. But 2 kills down, they were just having to panic around. Dragon, as you can see, was taken at the same time by Koi. First tower was taken by Odawane in the bottom lane for XL. Baron was uncontested. Well, I say uncontested, it was an aced Baron. I look at the death timers, and after some back and forth, a misplay led to Koi getting the win in a 40-minute slugfest. Game 5, the game of the week, Fnatic versus G2. And if you wanted Fnatic to be competitive in this game, find another game. G2 dominated. They just took everything. I don't even need to really say the objectives. I think it's clear to see by what you can see on the screen. Just Fnatic were just out of their depth here, and even a kind of fight at the Baron didn't work. G2 had a meal to go to. They needed to go. They were running late. It's just how it worked. And now we move on to Monday, which is something I'm really not going to get used to. Heretics versus SK. First Blood went Heretics' way due to some Cassante play. Herald also went Heretics' way. Not that you could see it on here, we were just watching jungle stuff. Dragon went SK's way while we were watching top lane stuff. Tower did go Heretics' way while we were watching bot lane stuff. And Baron went Heretics' way while we were watching Baron stuff. The game went SK's way after over half an hour. Game 3. 2. It's on the screen. BDS versus XL. And Patrick died for First Blood for BDS. XL did go and get themselves a dragon after getting themselves back even on kills. They also got themselves the Herald as well. Everything was fine. First tower though went to BDS, and after getting a few kills up and XL being run ragged around the map, and Baron went to BDS's way there, but you'll notice there's a Dragon Soul for XL, and after XL got themselves a free Elder, they eventually got themselves a win after 46 minutes. Game 3, G2 versus Astralis, and by frames, Astralis got themselves the First Blood. G2 then got themselves the Hextech Drake. I've just been seeing a lot of that this week. Maybe that's just me, maybe it's bias. G2 also got themselves a Herald as well. Some fighting was happening in the middle of the jungle. Blue team destroyed the first turret. Oh, and that's capped on a Zac, by the way. G2 got themselves the Baron as well, and after a bajillion kills, just shy of 25 minutes, they got themselves their third win of this split. Game 4, Koi versus Fnatic. Fnatic really needed a win, and it wasn't looking that way to begin with. Bot lane action got Koi the First Blood. Herald was taken by Fnatic while Koi watched. See what they were doing. Tower, though, was taken by Koi on the top lane, and 11 minutes in, Fnatic got themselves the dragons that they're used to, and then Koi just said, "Here's this Baron, come take it." They did, and after getting Mountain Soul, Fnatic got themselves a much needed win. Last game of this week, Mad Lions versus Vitality. And First Blood went Vitality's way, quite far away, up the mid lane. Dragon was taken by Vitality as well. As was the Herald. Mad Lions, not sure what an objective here was at this point. Well, they got themselves a dragon, just wasn't the first one. And bottom lane tower did go Vitality's way as well. And then they got themselves a lovely Baron. And finally, the win. And that wraps up the games of week 1 of the new LEC. Let's see how our Fantasy League scores went. Well, Perky, the big predictive git, is there at 53 points. Down, languishing down at the bottom, is Terry with 40. Just to give you something, Perky did have, missed 2 predictions in the first day, so that was one thing. Right, we'll be back next week with more predictions and more games. We'll see you then.